The COVID vaccines are here.
Know the facts.
Get the shot.
End the pandemic.
The vaccines are proven safe and effective.
The vaccine does not contain COVID.
Nor will it give you COVID.
Side effects are relatively minor.
Arm pain, fatigue, and low-grade fever.
COVID-19 vaccine protects you
and those you love.
As healthcare workers,
we're setting the example
for our patients
and our community.
This is your shot.
Schedule your COVID-19 vaccine today.
All right, so, credit to Alabama first off, players, coaching staff, and reason they're number one team in the country. And, coming here and playing in front of 100,000, said it all week, you got to do everything right to give yourself a chance. And obviously we didn't do that. Had chances to get off the field, had Bryce sacked a couple of times, let him out. And then, not making fourth downs and not finishing that first drive, but then multiple drives on fourth down. So I'm sure, got killed on going for it on fourth down, but that's analytics. We believe in our players and it doesn't work all the time. And so when it works or when it doesn't work and you follow the book, it doesn't look good. So, but also it's why it's analytics, not just doing whatever you want to do, because you can easily get a punt blocked. You can give up a punt return, for net of nothing and it'd be exactly the same. So, disappointing, but it's one game, never defines a season. So great team. And we struggled with them on offense, obviously, and especially up front. And I guess 31's got another year, but he should go be the first pick of the draft.
We'll take questions on Zoom.
Nick Suss.
You talked about the struggles up front. Just what did you see from your offensive line that allowed them to put so much pressure on Matt and kind of took away the run game too?
They played a lot of odd tight with four eyes, and that's a hard up front, when you do that. And so, I tell it how it is, good and bad. We got dominated up front. So that ain't hard to see. I'm sure you saw it out watching. Matt didn't have very much time. We had negative runs with guys in the backfield. So again, that's not us doing a very good job. And it's also, credit to a really good defense. And I'd buy 31 and then 10 made plays. I thought about it towards the end of the game. Coach Saban said a year ago, he felt like afterwards, it was like every call was like the right call that we had and everything went our way. And I felt like that today for them, defensively, like, we go speed option on fourth down and, number 10 makes a great play and catches Ely. Ely tries to cut back for some reason. So credit them for showing up, making a lot of plays.
Joey Blackwell.
Hey, Coach. Brian Robinson Jr. was able to rush for over 170 yards, and Alabama running backs in general over 200 yards. What made them so effective against you guys, particularly defensive line today?
Well, Brian's a good player. I remember him playing right here in high school in Tuscaloosa when I was there, and they ran him a lot to their left side. I guess the left tackle might be the first pick of the draft since 31 can't come out because he's huge. And they ran behind him a lot. The guy's a dominant player, and Brian did a really good job and, was still in there at the end. So actually finally stopped him there in the fourth quarter twice.
Parrish.
Lane, how far away do you think you are from your offensive and defensive lines being able to catch up and be more competitive in this kind of game?
Well, I think that's always an issue with Alabama. They sign the best players everywhere in the country, but they always sign the best in the front. And so, you're going to have to do unique things, no different than, when Ole Miss did beat Alabama. They had Mdici and moved the front and, made a lot of plays. So it's always going to be a little uphill battle that way. That's just how it is. And, you got to scheme around it.
We'll go to Blake.
Lane, those 2 4th downs inside your own territory, do you think you would have gone for those against any opponent, or do you think playing Alabama influenced that decision?
No, that's actually opposite. If anything, I mean, 100% you go for it. And if, that's the other way. A lot of people don't do it because it's like scared money, when blackjack table, you got $5, it's easy, put a couple of thousand out there. Now you get scared. And so I said, we weren't going to do that. We were going to follow the analytics, follow the book, and not get scared because we're in Alabama and, not have confidence in our players and punt. Because again, you can punt and then go score. They scored every possession but one in the first half. So, I know it looks bad when it doesn't work, but again, you can punt it away. It just takes longer for them to score.
Back to Nick.
Lane, are there adjustments that can be made to be able to stop the run and still keep 5 or 6 in the box like you guys have this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to probably sound crazy, but you were there a year ago. They moved the ball a lot better a year ago, a lot faster than this year. It just took them longer this year. So we actually, made them work, to get the rushing yards, even though it ended up being a lot. But, Brian's 4.8 a carry, that could have easily been a lot higher. So I don't think, it's a game where you say all of a sudden, okay, hey, we need to change what we're doing on defense. That's not really the storyline of the game. The storyline of the game is that they did a great job on defense with great players and made great adjustment with the coaches. And, we didn't.
John.
Right here, but Lane, you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but what were your takeaways of Matt's performance today overall?
I think it's going to sound strange. I think Matt played all right. It's not like he threw no interceptions. Whatever he was, completion 22 of 30. We didn't do a whole lot around him, and we didn't protect him. That's hard when you don't have a long time to throw, and actually, moved around, got out of trouble, and made some plays, or it would have been worse. So I thought, Matt still played well.
Quick follow-up to that. I mean, you've been coaching for a long time after kind of a loss like this, and you guys are rolling. What's kind of the key to kind of boost morale in the locker room with players afterwards after a game like this?
Make sure we understand it's one game, and there was a lot of hype and build up for the game, and one game does not define your season. It doesn't define you, it molds you. So you can go one way or the other. And I think in a way, as much as it hurts during it, it's kind of sometimes better when a game's like this versus last year where you're sitting and saying, oh, one play, and then you got a hangover, and go play like we did against Arkansas. So hopefully this refocuses and shows us, how we got to do everything right.
We'll go to Michael.
Yeah, you guys had 78 rushing yards. Is that more of a factor of the way the game, the pace of the game, the way the score was, or was that what Alabama was doing defensively?
Well, that's a combination, but, especially as you saw the game in the first half, not a lot of holes to run. So had to try to be creative and come up with different things to get some more space and stuff. But, if you don't get the first downs going and get them tired, I've always said, you've seen the Alabama defense for a long time. They can be a great defense and shut anybody down if you don't get them tired. And we didn't do that today. I thought we were starting that way with the first drive. And then, we sputtered after that.
Back to Nick.
Do you have an update or a diagnosis on Mingo?
I don't. That was a late in the week thing. Feel down for the kid. He was in tears, wanted to play in this game. And, has worked as hard as anybody. Felt bad for Matt losing him, finding out Thursday that he wasn't going to play. So we'll see.
Okay, we'll take some questions in the room.
Coach, how much was playing at Bryant-Denny at full capacity, kind of your first true road game of the season, a factor in this game?
I mean, I'm sure it was. Once you put the headset on, we don't hear that as coaches. But, that's why they call home field advantage and 100,000 people, So I'm sure it affected the players somewhat. I didn't feel like we had, a lot of crowd noise issues where you saw a lot of false starts going on. And so, but I'm sure it was an impact.
All right, we'll take one more. Wayne, obviously, Jonathan not being in there is huge for you guys. The second leading receiver on your team in multiple categories. Did not having him, how much did that kind of impact your game plan and impact, the outcome?
Well, when you lose a significant player late in the week, it's difficult because your game plan's already in. When we found out he wasn't going to play, so is what it is. I kind of felt bad for Matt when it happened that he wasn't coming in with full strength weapons to go into this matchup, and so, but we got to get better, and whoever plays.
All right, thanks, Coach. Love players and next.
All right, guys, thanks.
Nick.
Keidron, can you just kind of start by talking us through what was going on defensively in the first half? It seemed like they had you guys on your heels for most of that first half.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't lining up correctly, wasn't busting, looking to the sideline to get the call. I mean, we really just beat ourselves. A lot of credit to Bama, though.
Joey.
Brian Robinson Jr. was really effective against you guys. What do you think? Why do you think he was so effective against your defensive line and you guys in general?
Like I said, we wasn't lining up correctly, wasn't getting the call, so they were hitting the holes and the gaps that are a weakness in our defense.
Nick.
So why weren't you getting the calls? What was going on that you weren't lining up correctly? Just kind of what was causing that?
I mean, the pace of the offense, hurry up offense, then coach is trying to get the right call to the right personnel. So it's just on us. A lot of things were on us today.
This was kind of the first time this year we'd seen some true coverage busts where guys were just running free, wide open. From your vantage point at safety, what were you seeing that kind of let guys have those holes?
Like I said, it just wasn't lining up right to the calls, getting adjustments in, making communication was a lot.
Questions in the room? Where do you guys kind of go from here? And I mean, do you say anything specifically from a leadership standpoint, or I mean, what's kind of the key to getting morale up for next week and kind of wash this one away?
I mean, digest the loss, we learn from it tomorrow and Monday, and then just get ready for next week. We got another big game, SEC game. So we can't just, think about this game so much. We got to move on because we got another good opponent coming in at home.
Okay, we'll start off on questions on Zoom.
Michael, start us off.
Matt, I know explosive plays had been something you guys had really kind of thrived on coming into this game. I think you guys only had one play of 20 yards or more today. Was that something that they were doing to take that away, or was it just you guys not executing the offense the way you wanted to?
No, it was us just trying to catch a rhythm and then go for the shot play. Every time that we've, got our rhythm, it was either a holding or it was something negative towards us. So we couldn't do that because they were getting their rest, and our job was to wear them out, then take a shot deep. So we didn't get to that as much as we wanted to.
Nick.
Matt, from your perspective, what wasn't working with the running game today?
I mean, nothing was not working. It was working. We just didn't execute. We weren't going to the right people. There was a couple times where I on pass protection. I didn't see the keys for them to make me hot, and that's when that guy came straight up the gut untouched, and that was my fault. So I mean, just little things like that is going to get you beat like this and going against the number one team.
Tyler.
Matt, football wise, how do you deal with adversity?
Excuse me?
Speaking in football terms, how do you deal with adversity?
Just get back to work. There's nothing you can do about that. It's in the past. Just keep everybody's heads up, and we got a big one next week.
We'll go back to Michael.
Matt, you guys, came in with the most fourth down tries and most fourth down conversions in the country today. It didn't maybe go as well. Just what were you guys kind of seeing, and just how deflating was it not to be able to get those fourth and shorts?
It was frustrating. Our coaches trusted us to make the plays. Like I said, it's just us not executing, not making those fourth down calls when we need it. That's just simple as that.
Nick.
This was kind of the most you guys saw with players stacking the box and less drop 8 type stuff. Did they do anything schematically that surprised you, or was this kind of what you'd seen and they just kind of?
No, they did a little bit of drop 8, but I mean, no, they did everything that they showed on tape, and it was a team like that, they're going to line up and beat us, and then they're going to make you beat them. So, like I said, just executing and knowing little details of what we're doing in that certain play. And there's some play we didn't make enough plays today. That's all it was.
Michael.
Lane said that it's important for you guys to remember that one game doesn't make or break a season. Just how, as the leader of this team, how do you kind of help the team go forward?
Not to feel like this again. We were on a roll, and we got knocked down. Now our back's against the wall. How are we going to respond? And I know everybody in that locker room is going to be ready to go on Monday.
We can take any questions in the room.
Matt, not to harp on this too much, but we mentioned the fourth downs earlier. I think on 3 of the 4 Bama touchdown drives in that first half, it was coming off a failed fourth down conversion on your guys' end. Do you think that made the biggest difference?
I don't know. I mean, we need to make those. We need to make those conversions. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Our coaches are trusting us to make those conversions, regardless of if it's the play or if it's the execution. We need to be on the same page and execute it and get it done. That's all it is. I mean, there's nothing that, like I said, there's nothing that they were doing that was different or whatever. It was just us getting it done.
All right. Anything else on Zoom? All right. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. That'll be it for today.